Might as well keep smashing stuff. I don't have to have this puppy back to the rental place till 5. Time to pump up the jams.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Duh.
Psst, check out my Patreon. What's up, y'all? Got a shorter one here for you today. Yeah, unfortunately this episode lacks a lot of substance and instead chooses to exchange it for simplicity and slapstick. And while that can totally be a good thing, the execution once again is what falters here, and you'll see what I mean as we go along. A slight hiccup is, quite frankly, exactly what it sounds like. A slight hiccup in the reboot's repertoire of Season 2 episodes.
Stop right there, evildoer! No, that's not it.
A slight hiccup begins with Blossom trying to figure out her signature opening catchphrase for whenever she and her sisters bust onto the scene of an evil supervillain's plot for world domination. Although, as you can see by her list here, she really doesn't have much going for her at the moment. Personally, I think Not So Fast serves its purpose just fine, but hey, what do I know? She heads downstairs to see Buttercup teaching Bubbles how to burp, which makes about as much sense as it sounds. How Bubbles has managed to never burp once in her entire life is beyond me, and if you think I'm joking, I'm not.
Buttercup's teaching me how to burp. Check this out. Burp.
Bubbles, that was fake.
See? I'm learning so much already.
The way that she's written heavily implies that she's never burped in her entire life. Hell, she doesn't even know what a burp is. And like, I get that Bubbles is meant to be the naive one, but there's nothing charming about her blatant ignorance here. My reaction isn't, "Aw, that's cute." It's, "Are you serious? You've never burped before in your life?" Like, I understand if Buttercup is teaching her how to become a better belcher, that'd make perfect sense, because belching is both a voluntary and involuntary bodily function, just like blinking or breathing. Plus, knowing Buttercup, it suits her character well, but no, she's literally teaching Bubbles how to burp. This wouldn't be such a big deal if it weren't for the fact that Bubbles can't even tell the difference between a burp and a hiccup.
Wow, congrats, guys. We did it. Excellent burps all around.
Yeah, so as it turns out, Blossom and Buttercup try to have a little belching competition between each other by chugging dozens of soda cans, but the three of them ultimately end up getting hiccups instead. Ah, so now you know where the title came from. This leads them to ask the professor about what's going on, and he tells them that their hiccups are superpowered because they're superheroes. Okay, just like how the spotty piglet fever was enhanced back in Sister Sitter. I see. Well, at least I can say they're being consistent. The rest of the episode then proceeds to show us how the girls have to deal with their lightning-fast ricochet hiccups as they go about their business, bouncing all over the place no matter the activity.
That didn't work. And now I gotta pee.
Suddenly the mayor calls and he's like... So Blossom's like...
What?
And the mayor's like...
Oh, sorry. It's just that some nitwit is trying to destroy the Jaw District.
And Bubbles is like...
But that's the lifeblood of this town!
And I'm like... Since when? Is that where Blossom got the giant jar from, an insect inside? I mean, that'd be a cool nod to continuity, but no, actually that reference is never made inside of this episode, so this is just pure coincidence more than anything else. It would have been cool to see that reference of all things because it's a subtle detail, but then again, what does this show know about subtlety? And guess who's back in the series after not appearing for almost 40 episodes? Why, it's Little Nicky, of course. You know, Little Nicky? Come on, one of you's gotta remember him, right? Special brownie points to the first person who can name the episode he's originally from down in the comments below. So the Gnat is back, and he's trying to destroy Townsville because he's tired of getting trapped in jars. Yes, that's literally his reason. So the girls show up and call him Nart because they still don't remember his name and try to stop him.
Oh, there it is. Aha!
Not today, Nart!
What the? Powerpuff Girls! First of all, it's the Gnat. Second of all, get out of my way! Move! Move!
Sorry, Nate.
At the very least, they kept the name gag going from previous episodes, which is good, but otherwise it's just a regular encounter with the guy. He's got a blimp, at least. That counts as something different, right? So each of the girls proceed to say they're going to stop him, but get knocked down by their hiccups halfway through their assault. Blossom lands in the jar bazaar, smashing all of the jars, which pleases the Nap because the girls are basically doing his job for him now. Buttercup, on the other hand, crashes into the jar czar because haha, it rhymes. And Bubbles, well, this is where she ends up.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
I see colors in the sky. Rainbow that's
No
floating.
copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
As the beautiful things pass us by.
What a wonderful world? Really? Seems a bit random considering the context, but okay. Also, let's check out the effect on that. Look at how Bubbles enters this building. Wow. Yeah, she literally just phases through the explosion that somehow projects out of the wall. So the Gnat gloats about his victory and ends up destroying even more of the Jar District thanks to the girls' ineptitude, causing even more reckless chaos in the Jar District. Ah, I see Jerry upgraded from his bait shop. Glad to see he's found new business elsewhere. Too bad his giant jarlet is about to crush and kill the mayor, or at least it would if not for the fact that the girls are able to save him in the nick of time. Alright, cool, so at least the girls did one thing heroic in the episode. At least I can give it that. It's kinda sad that I'm issuing this compliment now, and in reality it should be the bare minimum, but hey. And you should know, while they're holding on to the lid, they actually spin around in place because the girls magically know to project their hiccups at a 90-degree tangent line from their position around the ring so that they manage to stay fixated at the same center point due to their balancing of centripetal force. If you've studied physics, you'll understand what I just said, but if not, it's basically what Blossom says too. This gives the girls the bright idea to create a giant tornado to blow the Gnat away, because clearly the best thing to do is create a giant spinning vortex right next to the giant piles of broken glass. Surprisingly, it works.
What's that? I should have got rental insurance!
But the tornado actually does backfire on the girls, as it, probably would, and they're forced to worry about how they're going to stop the giant wind funnel of destruction heading straight for them. You see, ideally, they just use their hiccups again, seeing as that's what allowed them to push it in the desired direction the first time, but their hiccups are gone now. They actually hiccuped so much in creating the tornado that they outright got rid of them, so now they don't know what to do. Luckily, they've got a friend nearby who's willing to help them save the day.
Fear not, Powerpuff Girls! The Jar Jar will save you from the tornado! Hey-ya! Oh! It is too powerful! It is too powerful!
Well, they're fucked. And so it's back to square one, with the girls deciding that they need to get their hiccups back. Thus they rapidly head on over to a vending machine, grab some soda cans, and gulp it all down as fast as they possibly can.
Save the jars! What are you doing, man? That's a bottle! Focus! Hurry, Mason, hurry!
Yeah, dude, gosh, what are you thinking? Buttercup and Blossom, yeah, they turn up empty. But Bubbles, well, let's just say Bubbles unleashes her inner beast. So she burps over live-action stock footage and a Tex Avery cartoon, and that manages to make the tornado disappear, leaving Blossom and Buttercup in utter shock as they try to comprehend what just happened. And yeah, that pretty much draws this episode to a close. Like I said, this one was on the much shorter side of things considering it's a very simple premise. Nothing more to it than what I just explained. As you can tell, this one leads far more into the slapstick comedy side of things with the constant hiccup damage and explosion and things like that, but to be honest, this one's incredibly forgettable amidst the sea of reboot episodes. It just kind of falls in line as a mid-season reboot tie-over. No iconic villain moment or egregious secondary character. Not a super interesting plot point or moment of moral preaching to be found. It's just a chain of events that happens and then we move on. Nothing more to it than that. Not every episode is going to be a huge hit or a colossal dud, and this episode is a textbook case of that. And I guess that's all I've got for a slight hiccup.